Hello YouTubesters, and welcome to Let's Play Final Fantasy 1 Advance with me, BlueAnkylo. In this episode, we'll actually start the game after that introduction, so let's get to it. So as you can see, I've changed the background color a little bit from the default, just so I kind of like the shade a little bit. I spent a little bit of time. And to start with, I'll quickly go over some of the menu options, just briefly. If you're familiar with Final Fantasy games, it's all pretty standard. I mean, you can move your people around. There's no front row, back row like a lot of games have, so you can't go in the back to take half defense, but you can move the person to the top and they will take the most hits. So, you know, like, if you really want to game, you can put, like, say this Cecil's running low on health, you can move him down and then it's less likely he'll be killed or something. You know, you can do that sort of stuff. Config settings, the auto run is great. Cursors, it's another standard setting for Final Fantasy games. It's just goes to the place, remembers the command you put in last, and faster, and the color, whatever. We'll go through the bestiary as we unlock it, essentially. It's a very nice feature. The original game, the NES version, came with like a bestiary of its own. It had all the enemies on it and how much experience and health points they had. It had maps and stuff. So nowadays, you know, they just give you a sort of digital encyclopedia, which is pretty cool. But I kind of liked having those big maps. They were cool back in the day. If anyone else remembers the old Nintendo era and Super Nintendo, we used to get really cool booklets back then. So what else was there? Status, just very briefly. You know, I can go over some of the stats and how this all works later, but for now, let's just, you know, get to the game. Pretty standard equipment type stuff. Magic's maybe different than some games, but we'll go over that. And let's just get to it. So, welcome to Cornelia. I think it was Cornelia in the original, but whatever. There's been lots of translation changes, so it's all good. So, we'll just have a little chat with some people. This is Cornelia, the City of Dreams. Hi there, I'm a dancer. What's that? You want to dance with me? Hee hee. Yeah, you know, you can even check the fountain here. Let's take a peek at your reflection in the water. Ugh, you're filthy. Wash up already. Just to remind you when you were a kid. Restore the crystals to grace. Oh yeah, I didn't show that technically. Those four little, sort of bottom right above the name of the town you're in, those will light up as we go along. So, as he says here, restore them. That's what we'll do. In the original game they were called orbs, but they've been updated to crystals. It's a well. It looks like you could climb inside, but you can't, really. So unlike the Dragon Warrior games, there shall be no well climbing. We'll just talk to all the people here quick. I once lived far to the east of here in the harbor city of Provoca. We will go there. These days I hear it's turned into a pirate's den. It's kind of cool. I remember in the original game the manual actually suggested you like write down this kind of stuff. Please rescue Lady Sarah. Oh, we will. So it's kind of neat. Like the old games was closer to like the D&D pen and paper stuff where you actually had to like keep notes on what to do. So this is the clinic, and if someone is dead, this is where you go. So unlike many of the newer games where you just auto-resurrect or whatever, you actually have to go to a special healing place, or if you have the spell, you can do that too. But items, we're not going to buy anything here for now. You know, pretty standard stuff. One thing that's considerably changed from the original is the amount of money you have. The king truly believes in Lucan's prophecy that the warriors of light will come to save the princess. I believe that intro was supposed to be Lucan's prophecy, so that's what that was. Oh please, you must rescue the princess. Well, we'll get to it, don't worry. Sage Lucan said something about finding the crescent moon. Then he just up and left town. Well, we keep that in mind. We'll look for some crescent moon at some point. Now for shopping. The good old shopping music. We want, let's see, one rapier for our fighter. Probably a nunchuck for our black belt. He was a black belt before instead of a monk. The fighter turned into a warrior, you know. The white mage will need a hammer. And I think, I'm not sure if this is actually better. He's got a knife right now. 6 attack or 5 with some accuracy. Whatever, doesn't really matter. Try not to spend too much time shopping. Chainmail is the best, of course. weight reduces your evasion, defense is sort of subtract from damage, so I'm not sure if I'll even need that leather armor. The way, I'll show you guys how this works. So obviously, you know, attack power is good. Accuracy works such that every 32, I think, every 32 points in it, you get an extra attack. I think I might be wrong on the number, but as it goes higher, you get more attacks, more attack chances, and you can still miss, but essentially right now we'll have 1 attack at 14 attack power, and later on that'll, like once he gets levels up or whatever, he'll get 2 attacks at that power, or whatever he's at. And defense works as a subtractive from damage. It's not exactly minus 15, but something like that. And evasion being your chance to evade. Again, not a 46% chance to evade, but you know, sort of however the formulas work, I'm not 100%. Now for the black belt, or the monk here, it's a little bit different. If you actually have no equipment, he will do 2 attacks at that rate. I guess it's accounting for having 2 hands. So right now that'd be like 14 damage times 2. If you give him a nunchuck, it's 19 damage times 1, basically. So, you know, it's kind of a choice as to which does more damage. A lot of the times punching is better, period. So we'll use some nunchucks for now, because they're really cheap, but... and then again, his armor actually works sort of like that too. He has, like look, his defense went up by, like, putting clothes on actually makes him less defensive. He works best when he's naked, you know. So, leather armor right now is a little bit better, so we'll wear that, but, you know, after a level up or 2, we'll probably just put him back to nothing. And then, these guys will work just like normal. So that's that knife, staff, more damage, less accuracy, so whatever, no big deal for now. Anyway, nothing to worry about too much, you don't want to stress out about it. This game, kind of like I said, is very easy, so you don't really have to worry. Cure is a good spell. Oh yes, so you see it says level 1 spell. You can only have 3 per level. You can't learn every single spell in the game, so that's kind of how it works. Cure is the really important one for your white mage. Dia is like... it only works against undead, so skeletons and stuff, and hits them all, which isn't bad, but most of the time you want to save your MP for healing, so it's not that big a deal. Protect, you can cast on anyone, gives them a bit more defense, or absorb rating, which is pretty good. And Blink works on herself and makes her harder to hit, which is really good, but you can only cast it on yourself, so it's a self-target spell. And then Black Magic, Fire, single target fire damage, Thunder, single target lightning damage. This spell is pretty useless, so we won't get it, but Sleep isn't bad. It hits everything and puts them to sleep sometimes, so there we go. One thing I was going to mention is in the original game, you definitely did not have enough money to just buy everything like that. You actually couldn't afford all their spells or whatever, so you'd have to go grind a bit. This version, one of the big things that makes it easier is you generally have enough money. Oh, I'm skipping the text. Crystals, because when I play this normally I skip through everything, so I'll try to go slower for people. You must see the king at once. And we are teleported there. Or taken. Welcome, travelers. I am told you carry crystals. Is this true? Oh, we show them. Look at that. Shiny crystals. It's just as Lucan's prophecy foretold. When darkness fails the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. Well, here we are. Chancellor, your majesty, we cannot be certain that these are the warriors foretold by the prophecy. But we have the crystals, what more do you need? The king, or maybe I'll stop saying Yet they stand before us with the crystals. I cannot dismiss this as mere coincidence. Yes, good job, king. Crystal bearers, there is a task I would ask of you. Will you not rescue my daughter Sarah? Of course we will, we're good guys. Garland, a knight once in his majesty's service, has abducted Princess Sarah. I ask you for your aid in the name of his majesty, the King of Cornelia. Garland has taken refuge in the Chaos Shrine, which lies to our north. Of course, we did attempt to save the princess ourselves, but Garland is the finest swordsman in the kingdom. We have none who can match him. Ah, very well. Sounds like a good task for the 4 warriors of light. I have heard that you wish to journey to the continent to our north. The bridge leading north was lost long ago, making passage impossible. If you can rescue Sarah, I will have the bridge rebuilt as a sign of my gratitude. Go now, warriors of light, and do not fail me. Kind of seems like that should have been his job anyway, you know, his kingdom can't even trade with the neighboring kingdom. The warriors of light have come at last. How long have we waited for this day to come? Garland is no longer the man I once knew. I beg of you, please return my daughter. The dancing girl in town knows many odd bits of information. Yeah. If you stray from your path, try talking to her. She may know something that can put you back on course. So a lot of this stuff has changed from the original game to make it easier. They tell you where to go a lot more explicitly in this version. The original was a little bit tough to figure out sometimes. Our reports say that Garland fled north with the princess to the Chaos Shrine. We shall go there. Fear not. I laughed when the king, when they doubted the veracity of us being the Light Warriors. If anyone's read the 8-Bit Theater on nuclearpower.com, there's a webcomic that goes along the original NES story, sort of, and there's some there's a lot of hilarity in all of that. So anyway, I'll leave that to you to read if you want. The king is searching for the prophesized warriors of light. Those crystals, could it be? It could be. Garland was once the greatest knight in the kingdom, but power consumed him and he lost sight of who he really was. You learn a little bit of backstory about this villain, so that's kind of cool. More stuff that was sort of missing in the original one. They talked about him a little bit, but... Please save Lady Sarah. It must be really important. All the maids and stuff in this castle just lost without their princess. Her Majesty is overcome with grief. She shut herself inside her chambers. Please try not to upset her. Oh. I am Jane, Queen of Cornelia. Please, bring my daughter, my Sarah, back to me safely. You got it. Perfect task for the Light Warriors. Or the Warriors of Light. We used to be just Light Warriors, but they upgraded us. My sister? I want my sister! Oh, that's kind of... Uh-oh. Graphical glitches. What happened? I'm using a different emulator than I usually do, which has some good stuff, but every now and then you run into a glitch like that where the top couple lines of the screen screw up. Our ancestors sealed weapons within this treasure house for 400 years ago. They then gave the key to the Elf King to hold until the coming of the Warriors of Light. Well, so there's some treasure in here, hey? Bound with the mystic key for 400 years. Our ancestors sealed weapons within this treasure house for 400 years. Yep. They then gave the key. Yeah, same as the other guy. Well, we'll have to find a way through that. Don't you worry, YouTubers. We'll get it. Alright, so that's all the chit-chat. Let's get to work. I think in this version, I'm just going to go kill him. These guys can't stop me. Goblins, totally weak. Even in the original game, they were nothing to worry about. One thing that's very handy is, in the original game, if you all targeted one enemy and it died, they would not auto-target to the next enemy. So it's very old school. You had to individually select everything. Nowadays, it will switch to the next target like a modern game. So that makes it a lot easier too. Look at that damage. White Mage can hit hard too. Oh, and counter rate. But yeah, essentially these sorts of fights, nothing to worry about. I guess I should check. You notice there Sabin did like 15 damage. It might have been a critical hit, but I want to try to compare his nunchuck damage to his punching damage, just to see if it's not even worth... Oh, we all get levels up. Excellent. More hit points, more stats. Excellent. So let's see if we can keep track of Sabin's damage here, and I'll switch him over. Oh, look at all them goblins. 5 goblins, not to worry. We can handle it. Unfortunately, it looks like my Black Mage did not get a lot of hit points on his level up. Everyone else sort of doubled their hit points, but Vivi hardly went up at all. There's a lot of randomness in the level up generator, I think. There was in the original game, and I think there still is. Just how much stats you get and how many hit points and stuff seems to vary pretty significantly. Goblin Guard. I think we can handle it. These were called imps in the original game. Well, this would be a grey imp, but goblins were just imps. Translations, you know, change over time. we're going to save here. Well, that's one thing that's a lot easier too. In the original game, you could only save in town, at the inn, or with a tent. You could not just do that whenever you wanted. So we got a hat. I think I'm going to give it to him for now. More defense, although he doesn't really need too much more, but it's all good. A ghoul. So this is something, it would be undead, that Dia spell would have worked on. But I'm not too worried. I think we'll be okay. Well, that's pretty good damage, 23. Oh! Well, that was not good. I was not expecting that. Alright, everyone else gets level up. Well, shucks. I messed it up. Usually everyone stays at the same level for a fairly long time. Let's run away. Oops. Okay, our first journey to the Chaos Shrine is not going so well. Now I'm worried. Let's use that Dia spell. Now, skeletons are also really weak, or supposedly really weak. But, well, there we go. I should deal with them. But we're kind of hurting here. This is... oh, man. Okay, let's see if we can make it back to town. Well, viewers, you're in for some fun with me. I'm gonna be pushing the edge of success. I probably, like when I just play by myself, I probably play far more conservatively than than what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna try to play it like I'm sure I could play through like a perfect no backtracking kind of game if I really wanted to, but I'm gonna try to play it just for fun, kind of like the way you would the first time, give or take. You know, not a ton of grinding or getting lost kind of stuff, but you know, like if this was legitimately your first time playing the game, you wouldn't know what was going to happen in that Chaos Shrine, so you might have lost somebody like that. Of course, probably most RPGers would have got a level up or two and then healed up at the inn or something, you know. So I skipped that and took a gamble and lost my life. So, well, now you get to see how the clinic works. You wish to resurrect 7. We do. 40 gil. Oof. Poor Sabin. Thus begins the weak monk. One of the things from the 8-bit theater, the creator, the guy that writes it, absolutely hates the black belt. Hate's a pretty strong word, but I think it's fair in this situation. He doesn't like it at all. So, I've been cursed by by choosing to bring one along, and he's going to die over and over again or something. Alright, so I think I'll wrap up this episode for now. I'll show you where we're at for our characters. Level 3 and level 2, you know, my black mage is still at only 27 hit points. That's horrible luck. Should have way more than that by now, and of course Sabin dying was fairly unfortunate. It's already possible, well, it's not much better, but he's probably nearly at the point where armor and weapons are not even good for him. But anyway, that concludes the first official episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy I Advance with me. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll continue on next time. So have a great day.